Think you're a law-abiding driver? Think again. In America, you could be a criminal for driving in a bathrobe, failing to honk while passing, or even having a messy trunk. Forget simple speeding tickets. We're diving into the absolute basement of the US legal system. From laws protecting the feelings of horses to rules about where you can park for a donut, these are the 50 most absurd, logic-defying, and flat-out dumbest driving laws you're likely breaking every day. Let's ride. 1. In Rhode Island, your ego and your speedometer aren't the only things to watch. This tiny state legally prohibits you from passing another car without first honking your horn. Imagine a highway where every lane change sounds like a chaotic, aggressive wedding procession. It's a law that practically demands you be the most annoying person on the road just to stay within the lines of the law. Does this sound like a brilliant safety measure to you, or just a guaranteed recipe for immediate road rage? 2. California's Hermosa Beach has a law that feels like a personal vendetta against anyone with a leaky radiator. It's illegal to drive a vehicle that spills any fluid onto the pavement. While intended to protect the environment, it's written so broadly that a dripping air conditioner on a scorching July day could technically make you a fugitive. It turns common condensation into a potential citation, making you wonder if local mechanics drafted the bill themselves just to keep their repair bays full of confused tourists. 3. In New Jersey, the law has a very specific rule about the visibility of your license plate lights. It is illegal to drive with a burned-out bulb over your rear plate. While this is a minor fix, Jersey police use this equipment violation as a primary reason to pull over thousands of drivers every year. It's the ultimate phishing law, a tiny 50-cent light bulb that acts as a giant neon sign for the police to check your ID, your insurance, and your sobriety. Is it a safety rule, or just a really effective way to meet a quota? 4. Georgia seems to have a deep-seated legislative fear of poultry-based traffic accidents. In the town of Quitman, it is strictly illegal for a chicken to cross the road. The law places the entire legal burden on the owner to ensure their feathered friend stays on its own side of the white line. If the chicken decides to explore the other side, the human gets the ticket. This finally answers the age-old question. In Georgia, the chicken crossed the road specifically to get its owner fined. 5. Animal lovers in Massachusetts need to check the seating chart before hitting the highway. It is illegal to drive with a gorilla in your back seat. Interestingly, the law doesn't ban the gorilla from the car entirely. It just specifies the back seat is off-limits. This implies that if you're transporting a 400-pound silverback, he is legally required to ride shotgun, perhaps helping with the GPS. You have to assume someone actually tried the back seat method and it ended poorly enough to require a formal statute. 6. Alabama features a law written by someone who clearly hated fun and valued a very specific type of hygiene. Beyond the weird rules for church, it's illegal to drive a car with a stinky interior. Police have the discretion to cite you if the odor emanating from your cabin is considered a public nuisance. This means a gym bag, old pizza, or a wet dog could technically lead to a roadside interrogation. It turns the new car smell from a luxury into a mandatory legal requirement for survival. 7. If you're driving in the state of Nevada, specifically in the city of Reno, you might want to check the sturdiness of your passenger. There is an old ordinance that makes it illegal to lie down in the middle of a public street. While this sounds like a general vagrancy law, it's specifically written into the traffic code. It implies that at some point, people were using the warm asphalt of Reno's streets as a makeshift mattress, and the city had to clarify that roads are for rolling, not for snoring. It turns a nap into a high-stakes game of don't tread on me. 8. If you're cruising through Minnetonka, Minnesota, your tires better be as clean as your conscience. Local law states that any vehicle whose wheels deposit mud, dirt, or sticky substances onto the roadway is a public nuisance. This makes driving on a rainy day or through a construction zone a high-stakes legal gamble. You could be a perfect citizen, but if a clump of Minnesota clay falls off your fender, you're officially an enemy of the city's pristine pavement. 9. Maine takes a very firm, almost protective stance on where you park your car, especially near your morning caffeine fix. It is illegal to park in front of a Dunkin' Donuts, or any business, really, if the vehicle obstructs the view. Considering Maine gets snowbanks the size of houses, almost any car could be labeled an obstruction. It's a law that essentially says the state wants your money, but they don't want your pesky SUV blocking the store's aesthetic vibes from the street. 10. Denver, Colorado, is incredibly protective of residential driveways, even if you're just trying to be a polite neighbor. It's illegal to park on someone else's property without permission, but the wording is so strict that pulling into a stranger's driveway just to perform a quick U-turn technically counts as trespassing with a motor vehicle. It's a law that transforms a common, harmless driving maneuver into a criminal act, proving that in the mile-high city, no turning back is a literal legal mandate. 11. If you're driving through the historic streets of Savannah, Georgia, don't expect to find a loophole in the parking rules. It's illegal to park your car within 10 feet of a fire hydrant, but the city takes it a step further. It's also illegal to park in a way that annoys the local residents. This is a law that weaponizes the subjective feelings of your neighbors. If your car is too bright, too old, or just parked in a way that someone finds offensive, you could technically be facing a citation. It turns every street into a high-stakes popularity contest. 12. In the state of Idaho, specifically in Idaho Falls, there is a very strange ageist rule for motorcycle enthusiasts. It is forbidden for anyone over the age of 88 to operate a motorcycle. This is a law that puts a very specific expiration date on your Easy Rider dreams. Apparently, at 87, you're a safe, capable rider. But the moment you hit 88, you become a menace to the community. It's a rare example of a law that tells a specific demographic. You've had your fun, now get in the sidecar. 13. Down in New Orleans, Louisiana, they have a very specific rule for the more festive drivers. It is illegal to tie an alligator to a fire hydrant. While this might seem like a law for a very narrow demographic, it's a real part of the local code. It suggests that at some point, enough people were using alligators as automotive security systems that the city had to step in. It's a beautiful glimpse into a world where the biggest threat to public safety isn't a speeding car, but a tethered reptile waiting for the meter maid. 14. In the state of Washington, you better make sure your car is properly equipped before you head into the mountains. It's illegal to drive a vehicle without a functioning muffler, which sounds standard, but the law also bans any bypass or cutout that makes the engine louder. In a state known for its serene forests, a loud exhaust isn't just a nuisance, it's a crime against the quiet. If your truck sounds like a thunderstorm, you're basically a rolling violation of the state's peaceful aesthetic. 15. In Virginia, the law takes a very dim view of your mechanical shortcuts. It is illegal to drive a vehicle with a faulty speedometer. If you get pulled over for speeding and try to use the "my needle was stuck" excuse, the officer can hit you with a second ticket for the equipment failure itself. The state mandates that you know exactly how fast you're going at all times, turning a broken plastic gear in your dash into a criminal liability. 16. In the city of San Francisco, the hills are famous, and the parking laws are brutal. It is illegal to park your car on a grade of more than 3% without turning your wheels toward the curb. This is the curbing your tires law, and the city enforces it with a zeal that is almost terrifying. If you forget this one simple trick, you'll return to a hefty fine and a car that's been judged by the city's topographic standards. It's a law that turns every parking job into a geometry lesson. 17. If you're driving in New Jersey, you might want to keep your road rage in check, specifically your hands. It's illegal to frown at a police officer while you're being pulled over. While this falls under the broader disorderly conduct statutes in some municipalities, it's been a long-standing legend that your facial expressions are subject to the law. Even if you're having the worst day of your life, the state of New Jersey demands you maintain a neutral, if not pleasant, expression while receiving your ticket. 18. In the state of South Carolina, the law is very protective of its natural resources, specifically the horses. It is illegal to drive a car on a public highway and pass a horse-drawn carriage at a speed greater than 10 miles per hour. This is a law that keeps the 19th century alive and well. If you're in a hurry to get to the beach and you get stuck behind a buggy, you are legally obligated to join the slow-motion parade. It's a mandatory lesson in patience that most modern drivers aren't prepared for. 19. In Glendale, Arizona, the law takes a stand against the creatures of the night, specifically those who like to drive in reverse. It is illegal to drive a vehicle in reverse on any public highway or even on any street unless it is absolutely necessary for safety. This turns a common parking maneuver into a potential criminal act if an officer decides you could have just driven forward. It's a law that basically tells drivers, we only move in one direction in this town, forward. 20. In the state of Ohio, the law has a very strange rule about the power of your vehicle's horn. It is illegal to use a horn that makes a harsh or unreasonably loud sound. This is a law that effectively bans the train horn enthusiasts from the road. The problem, again, is the word unreasonable. If an officer thinks your beep-beep sounds more like a honk, you're getting a ticket. Do you think the government should have a say in how your car speaks, or is this just more overreach? 21. Moving to South Dakota, the state has a very progressive, or terrifying view on when a human is ready for the road. You can legally obtain a restricted driver's license at the age of 14. At an age when most kids are still figuring out middle school lockers, South Dakota trusts them with 2 tons of moving steel on the highway. It's a law born from the needs of a massive, empty farming state. But for a city driver, the idea of a freshman in high school merging onto the interstate is a genuine shock. 22. If you're traveling through the state of Connecticut with your best furry friend, keep your eyes on the road and the dog off your lap. While many states have general distracted driving laws, Connecticut is known for being particularly strict about unrestrained animals. If an officer sees a dog jumping around the cabin or, heaven forbid, sitting in the driver's seat, you're looking at a hefty fine. It's a law that treats your pet like an unguided projectile. Why do you think more states haven't made dog lap driving an explicit crime yet? 23. In the city of Tempe, Arizona, the law is very protective of the peace and quiet of its residential neighborhoods, specifically regarding your tires. It is illegal to peel out or squeal your tires when starting from a stop sign or traffic light. This isn't just a reckless driving charge, it's a specific ordinance against unnecessary noise from tires. Even if you aren't speeding, that half-second of rubber-meeting asphalt friction makes you a criminal. It's a law that effectively bans the dramatic exit for every teenager in the city. 24. In Oklahoma, the law takes a very firm stance against automotive acrobatics. It is illegal to change seats while a motor vehicle is in motion. While this seems like common sense, the fact that it had to be written into the statutes suggests that enough musical chairs was happening on the highways to worry the legislature. It turns a stupid teenage stunt into a formal criminal record, ensuring that once you pick a seat, you are legally committed to it until the wheels stop turning. 25. In the state of Georgia, you might want to rethink your cool driving posture. It is illegal to drive with your limbs protruding from the vehicle. This means the classic move of resting your elbow on the open window frame or, heaven forbid, sticking your foot out on a hot day is a finable offense. The law wants you fully contained within the metal box for your own safety. It's a law that takes the breeze out of a summer drive and forces everyone to sit perfectly upright like they're in a job interview. 26. If you find yourself in the small town of Dunn, North Carolina, don't even think about using the sidewalk as a shortcut. Not even for a second. It is illegal to drive through a public sidewalk to get to a private driveway if there is any other possible route. This turns a common, lazy maneuver into a misdemeanor. The law is designed to protect pedestrians, but it's enforced with a level of strictness that makes you wonder if the town council has a secret deal with the local curb repair companies. 27. In the state of Maryland, the law is very specific about what you can have hanging inside your car. It is illegal to have any object suspended from the rearview mirror that obstructs the clear view of the driver. This includes air fresheners, graduation tassels, and even your handicap parking permit if you leave it up while driving. It's a gotcha law that turns a pine-scented tree into a legal liability. Do you think a tiny piece of cardboard really obscures enough of the road to justify a police stop? 28. Let's talk about the strange Sunday laws in the state of Virginia. While many states ban car sales on Sundays, Virginia has had a long-standing law that makes it illegal to engage in the business of towing on a Sunday unless it's an emergency. This means if you just want to move an old car from one house to another on your day off, you're technically breaking the law. It's a mandatory day of rest even for the tow trucks, proving that even the most mechanical parts of society are subject to old religious traditions. 29. In the city of Hermosa Beach, California, your choice of parking can be a criminal offense even if you're in a designated spot. It is illegal to park a vehicle on any street for the purpose of displaying it for sale. This means the classic "for sale" sign in the window is a magnet for a ticket. The city wants to keep its streets for residents, not for your used car dealership ambitions. It's a law that forces you to the internet, effectively killing the curbside deal for good. 30. In the state of Oregon, the law is incredibly protective of the sanctity of the gas station. It is a crime for a driver to leave their engine running while they are actively pumping gas. While this is a common safety recommendation everywhere, Oregon made it a formal statute with actual penalties. It's part of the state's intense regulation of the fueling process, the same state where you aren't even allowed to pump the gas yourself. It's a world where the government doesn't just suggest safety, it mandates it with a clipboard. 31. In California, if you're a woman who values comfort, you might be a criminal without even knowing it. It is technically illegal for a woman to drive a motor vehicle while wearing a housecoat or a bathrobe. This law dates back to a time when public decency was a much bigger concern than traffic flow. It implies that at some point, enough women were dropping their kids off at school in their morning attire that the state felt the need to intervene. It's a law that basically mandates you get fully dressed before you touch the steering wheel, proving that California's chill vibe has some very strict boundaries. 32. Let's talk about the state of Alaska and its very specific concern for canine safety. It is strictly illegal to tie a dog to the roof of your car. Now, you might think this is common sense, but the fact that it's a specific statute suggests that somewhere in the frozen north, someone actually tried it. While putting your luggage on a rack is fine, putting your golden retriever up there is a fast track to a hefty fine. It's a law that protects our four-legged friends from the most extreme versions of bad ownership imaginable. 33. If you're driving in Alabama, keep your hands inside the vehicle and your focus on the road, especially if you're driving the wrong way. There is an old law that states it is perfectly legal to drive the wrong way down a one-way street, but only if you have a lit lantern attached to the front of your car. This is a magnificent relic from the transition between horse-drawn carriages and automobiles. It's a hack for the early 20th century that technically still exists in some municipal codes, turning a dangerous traffic violation into a historical reenactment. 34. In the state of Oklahoma, you better keep your entertainment choices for the parking lot. It is illegal to read a comic book while operating a motor vehicle. Not a newspaper, not a map, specifically a comic book. This law is so laser-focused that you have to wonder what specific Marvel or DC issue was so captivating it caused a pileup on I-40. It's the ultimate distracted driving law from a pre-smartphone era, proving that Batman has always been a threat to public safety in the eyes of the Oklahoma legislature. 35. In New Jersey, the law has a very specific rule about the physics of your vehicle's window tint. It is illegal to have any tint on your front windshield or the front side windows. While many states allow a certain percentage of darkness, Jersey demands total transparency. If an officer can't see the color of your eyes from across the intersection, you're a target. It's a law that effectively bans privacy in the front seat, making sure every driver in the Garden State is perfectly visible to the long arm of the law. 36. In Oregon, the law is very concerned about your physical safety, especially when it comes to the strength of your vehicle's doors. It is illegal to leave a car door open on the side of traffic for longer than necessary to load or unload passengers. While this sounds like common sense, the ambiguity of necessary is a goldmine for local traffic cops. If you're fumbling with your bags for an extra 30 seconds, you're officially a hazard to the state. Is this a genius way to keep traffic flowing, or just an excuse to tax the slow movers among us? 37. Moving to the East Coast, Sag Harbor, New York, has a law that is very protective of your privacy, or rather, the public's eyes. It is illegal to disrobe inside your car while it is parked on a public street. This is a direct hit to anyone trying to change into a swimsuit at the beach or swap their work clothes for a gym outfit. In Sag Harbor, your car is not a private dressing room. It's a glass box subject to the rules of public decorum. If you're caught mid-change, you aren't just embarrassed, you're a lawbreaker. 38. In California, the law is surprisingly protective of the dignity of the roadway, specifically when it comes to your car's autonomous features. It is illegal to operate a vehicle in autonomous mode unless a human driver is capable of taking immediate control. While this sounds modern, the state was one of the first to codify that you cannot sleep while your Tesla does the work. It turns the dream of a mobile bedroom into a legal nightmare, ensuring that even if the car is driving, the law still owns your undivided attention. 39. If you're driving in New Mexico, be very careful about how you acquire passengers if you're a cab driver. State law prohibits taxi drivers from reaching out and pulling potential customers into their vehicles. This implies that the taxi business used to be a full-contact sport in Albuquerque. The law had to step in to stop drivers from literally dragging people off the sidewalk to get a fare. It's a law that defines aggressive sales tactics in the most literal way possible. 40. Moving to Texas, the law takes a very dim view of your mechanical DIY skills on public property. It is illegal to perform a major car repair, like pulling an engine or changing a transmission, on a public street or even in a visible driveway in certain gated communities. While meant to prevent junkyard vibes in neighborhoods, it effectively criminalizes the shade tree mechanic. If you can't afford a shop and try to fix your own ride where people can see you, you're a zoning violator. It's a law that demands you hide your mechanical struggles from the public eye. 41. In the state of Wisconsin, specifically in Wayland, the law has a very firm opinion on your passenger's height. It is illegal for a person to ride on the hood of a moving vehicle, but the law goes a step further. It's also illegal to have a person sitting on the roof if the car is in motion or merely idling. This implies that even if you're just sitting in a parking lot with the engine on, having a friend on the roof makes you a traffic violator. The state wants everyone inside the steel cage, no exceptions for cool photos or stunts. 42. Moving to the Midwest, the state of Illinois has a law that is very protective of its viewing experience from the sidewalk. In the city of Wilmette, it is technically illegal for a person to drive a vehicle with a flat tire. While this sounds like a safety rule, the ordinance is categorized under public nuisance. The city isn't worried about your rims. They're worried about the ugly, flopping sound and the distressing sight of a damaged car ruining the neighborhood's pristine vibe. It's a law that basically tells you, if your car is broken, don't let us see it. 43. If you find yourself in Georgia, specifically in the city of Marietta, the law has a very strange rule about vehicular advertising. It is illegal to operate a vehicle that has lewd or indecent stickers or decals. While the First Amendment usually protects your truck nuts or spicy bumper stickers, Marietta has kept this ordinance on the books to protect public morality. It turns the back of your car into a G-rated billboard, proving that in this town, your car's personality has a legal limit. 44. In the state of Oregon, specifically in the town of Stanfield, the law is very protective of the modesty of its animals. It is illegal for more than 2 people to ride on a single horse on a public highway. While this is a driving law for animal transport, it also applies to anyone trying to hitch a ride on the back of a friend's stallion. The town council apparently decided that 3 people on one horse was not only a safety hazard, but a spectacle that the local roads simply couldn't support. 45. Let's talk about Michigan, where the law is very protective of the integrity of the roadway. It is illegal to drive a vehicle with studded tires on any public highway during the summer months. The state knows that those metal spikes chew up the asphalt, so they've mandated a strict seasonal window for their use. If you're still rocking your winter gear in July, you aren't just being loud. You're actively destroying state property, and the fines reflect that. 46. In the state of Ohio, the law has a very strange rule about vehicular hygiene that goes beyond just mud. In the city of Canton, it is illegal to leave a vehicle on a public street if it is infested with vermin. This is a law that suggests some truly horrifying scenarios. It's not just a parking ticket, it's a biological hazard warning. If your car becomes a mobile home for a family of raccoons or a colony of roaches, you aren't just a messy owner, you're a criminal. It's a law that demands a level of internal cleanliness that most city codes usually ignore. 47. Montana takes a traditional, almost chaperone-like approach to livestock transportation. It is illegal to have a sheep in the cab of your truck unless it is accompanied by a designated handler. Without a chaperone, that sheep is considered a rogue element in the front seat. One can only imagine the awkward conversation with a state trooper while trying to explain that your sheep is actually a very calm passenger. Do you think this was meant to prevent distracted driving? Or is something much weirder happening in Big Sky country? 48. In the state of South Carolina, the law is very protective of its educational standards on the road. In the city of Hilton Head, it is illegal to store any junk in a vehicle that is visible from the street. This includes old newspapers, discarded car parts, or even a messy pile of clothes. The city wants its streets to look like a brochure for a luxury golf resort, and your mobile storage unit of a car is a direct violation of that aesthetic. It's a law that essentially mandates that your car's interior be Instagram-ready at all times. 49. In the early days of the automobile, the state of Vermont had a law that was a direct tax on progress. It was illegal to operate a motor vehicle on a public highway unless a person walking 200 feet ahead of the car warned everyone of its approach. This was the American version of the Red Flag Act. It effectively made the speed of the car equal to the walking pace of a tired man. It was a law designed to make driving so inconvenient and embarrassing that everyone would just go back to their horses. After 49 points of pure madness, one law wins. Massachusetts' ban on gorillas in the back seat. While most weird laws involve horses or steam engines, this one leaves us baffled. Who tried this? How did it become a state mandate? It's the pinnacle of specific laws for specific idiots. In the Bay State, your primate pals are legally required to ride shotgun. It's weird, unnecessary, and our winner for the dumbest rule on the books. 50. In Little Rock, Arkansas, the law protects the ultimate late-night sanctuary, the sandwich shop. It is strictly illegal to honk your horn at any location serving cold drinks or sandwiches after 9 p.m. This isn't about hospitals or schools. It's a specific ceasefire for delis. It implies a legendary feud between a grumpy shop owner and a loud driver that ended with a permanent citywide ban on sandwich-based honking. It's the peak of petty, immortalized in the municipal code. The American road is paved with the bizarre leftovers of 200 years of questionable decisions. From Arkansas sandwich shops to California bathrobes, common sense isn't always common in court. These laws remind us the legal world is as weird as the people in it. If you were caught breaking one of these today, which one would be the most embarrassing to explain to a judge? Tell us below. Hit subscribe and keep your gorillas in the front seat. See you next time.